into the human condition. Not everybody can love their parents, but just about everybody can honor their parents. And I often give the example, in my commentary, I don't name the president because I don't want to politicize the commentary, but I remember vividly when I was broadcasting prior to my national show from Los Angeles on ABC radio, in came into the studio Jimmy Carter. And I stood up. I can't stand Jimmy Carter. I couldn't stand him then, and I can't stand him now. But I stood up because you stand up for the president. And that's how you feel. You can't stand your parents, you still stand up. That's what honor means. And by the way, we're not told to honor anyone else in the world. We're not told to honor kings. We're not even told to honor God. But we're told to honor our parents. That's how special that is in the biblical view. That's why that's the book that is so powerful in my life, and why I've devoted all decades to trying to make its insights available to people. So that's what I spoke about yesterday, and you'll be able to see that on YouTube if they don't take it down. You asked logically, does raising the minimum wage help or hurt poor people? If logic determined your response, you would not raise the minimum wage. That's all. It's not logic. If logic determined whether admitting students to college based on race were a good thing for those kids, forget for the whole society, then you wouldn't advocate affirmative action based on race. On any subject, I know it is not logic. Does logic dictate that the bigger the government is, the more effective it will be? No. It's just a desire to ever increase the size and power of government. It's not based on logic. It's based on doctrine. Doctrine comes first, logic comes second. So that's the answer. And that's why that is the reason you are called Six Herb, sexist, intolerant, xenophobic, homophobic, Islamophobic, racist, and bigoted, because when you can't answer people with logic, you answer them with an epithet. You call them a name. That's the reason. We don't. What are our names for them? What's the equivalent, conservative equivalent to Six Herb? There isn't. What do we call them? Wrong. But wrong is not sexist, intolerant, xenophobic, homophobic, racist, bigoted, and so on. The one takeaway is that the Bible is true. That God intervened in this world at some point, and that the return of the Jews to Israel is evidence of that fact. And that you were in a place that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that we are where we are today. 2,000 years ago, if somebody would have said, oh, in 2,000 years you'll be back, they would have been laughed at. Nobody ever did this. No, there's no such thing. People assimilate when they leave their country. I mean, to be honest, if Americans left America, were kicked out of America, and there are hundreds of millions of Americans, far more than there were Jews in ancient Israel. In 2,000 years, would all Americans come back, speak English, and identify as Americans in the United States of America geographically? It's very, very doubtful. It just doesn't happen. Look, we're having a hard time keeping up an American identity living in America. This is what worries us. Superman, and I reported this on the air, Superman is now not an American. He announced in the comic book last year, in front of the United Nations, I am no longer an American citizen. I am a citizen of the world. Your children at college are taught to be world citizens. People who identify as Americans, they are taught, are small-minded. So this is a miracle. You are living a miracle. And the other takeaway is modern Israel, this vibrant, amazing society surrounded by places that believe in death. Those of you who know your Bible know the great line, I have put before you today, I think it's Deuteronomy. I have put before you today the life and death, and you shall choose life. When I learned it as a kid in about 5th grade, I remember thinking, and I always had a sort of chutzpah way of thinking. Even if the Torah said it, I thought, that's goofy. Who's going to choose death? What kind of line is that? I put before you life and death, choose life. Who's going to choose death? But I was wrong and the Torah was right. Because this country is surrounded by societies that choose death. The most honored people in Palestinian society, and there are undoubtedly many wonderful individual Palestinians, I have no doubt about it at all. But the most honored people in Palestinian society are people who choose death. Their own and others. That's an amazing thing. You know what the head of Gaza said? So very often he has said it. It's almost one of their mottos. We love death as much as the Jews love life. It's as if he knows Deuteronomy. They say it. It's an amazing thing. When I first read that, I thought, wow, I was wrong in 5th grade. There really are people who choose death. To fly my life would be so circumscribed. I mean, I have the opposite actually. It's almost I'm almost as abnormal as the person who won't fly, because within a few moments of sitting on the plane, I fall asleep. Planes actually relax me, as is a bizarre reaction. I haven't seen a takeoff in about 6 years. I have to say, it's somewhat, my wife finds it hilarious that, Dennis, hello, Dennis, we're taking off. I have no idea. So I am lucky. For me, it's a non-issue, and I feel I'm not better than that person. I'm just luckier. I admit it. But there are times you can conquer fears. People fear everything, like I get calls from people. It's on the micro as well, My parents divorced, so I fear getting married. So I have a really good answer for these people. If your parents were in a bad car accident, would you fear driving? Why is that any different? Oh, I'm not going to drive. My parents were rendered paralyzed by a car accident. I never understood that. My parents divorced, so I'm afraid to get married. Then you don't do anything. You should certainly fear having children. That's much more frightening when you think about it. They don't always turn out exactly as you anticipated on their birth date. Okay. And that's why, by the way, I was just talking about this in the car yesterday when coming back from Bar-Ilan University to Alan and Sue, and that's why I've never understood why people are attracted to fake politicians. I don't understand why they don't say, that's not real. I've never, if there's one thing Donald Trump is, it's real. All right, I mean, that one has to, you may say he's really awful, really coarse, really crude, really this, really that, but he's real. That struck a lot of people as worth it, even at the price of some coarseness and crudity and so on. That's a wonderful thing. So I don't understand, and I have never attacked individuals as individuals. I'm very strict about that. This is not meant as an attack on her. It's only an attack on those who don't see this, and it's a puzzle to me. I admit it. I totally understand why, if you're on the left, you would have voted for Hillary Clinton. I completely understand that. Fine. What I don't understand is why you would have a bond. That's what I didn't understand, because I don't see her as real. I have no better sense of who she is today than when I first, quote-unquote, met her when she was First Lady of the United States. I don't know her from Eve. I don't know what makes her tick. There are people that are there are Democrats I think are real. In other words, I don't believe every and I don't believe every Republican is real. There are a lot of Republicans who talk like automatons. But that's what is a puzzle, and I don't have the answer to. Isn't real attractive? And I don't have a full response to that. But it's good. There are a lot of questions left. Anyway, God bless you. Be with you soon. Thank you, and have a great Shabbat.